Hello, everyone, and welcome to the February edition of the Polkadot Community Call. So, without further ado, I just want to give an overview of everything we will be covering today in the community call. Joining us today, we have Sota from Astar Network to give an update on all the great things they've been working on. We have Council Member Raul joining us to give an update on all the Polkadot and Kusama referenda proposals, motions, Treasury proposals that have gone to vote in the last month. We have Lucas joining us from Moonwell today to talk about the launch of native USDT as well as their governance. We have Nicholas joining us today from Ajuna to talk about the launch of their AAA game and I hope I'm saying this right, their Ajuna Network. We have Peaq joining us today to discuss their decentralized Uber app and product launch Peaq Control. We have Ziga joining us from Origin Trail to talk about their multi-chain decentralized knowledge graph. We have Oak Network joining us today to talk about the first ever live use case of remote execution via XCM. We have Alexi from Interlay joining us today to talk about their white paper V2, their USDT vaults, and their DIA partnership. We have Unique Network joining us today to also talk about their mobile SDKs, through Unity SDKs, and tokenizing carbon credits using Unique Network for nested NFTs. And last but not least, we have Apillon joining us today to give an update on all the great things they are working on. So without further ado, I would like to hand it over to Sota from Astar.
Yeah, thank you very much. So my name is Sota Watanabe, founder of Astar Network. Astar Network is the future of smart contract for multi-chain, and we are supporting EVM, and also we are going to support WebAssembly, which is the next generation batch machine. So we are making smart contract hub, as you may know, and we have already more than 100 dApps on the top of Astar, mainly DeFi and NFT. And I have been focusing on Japan from the last quarter four. And right now, I'm using 80%, more than 80% of my resource for Japanese market because we do have geological advantage here in Japan. And we have been working with the Japanese government and big companies. And finally, we could announce new partnership and collaboration with Toyota and Sony. As of today, Toyota is the largest enterprise in Japan, and the NTT Docomo is the second largest company in Japan. We have already announced a partnership with NTT. Third largest company is Sony. So we have been working really closely with the top three companies in Japan. And regarding the Toyota, we have announced the Web3 hackathon sponsored by Toyota. A lot of the dApps will be deployed on Astar. We got more than 424 applications across the globe, and they are going to deploy DAO toolings on the top of Astar for Toyota's employees. So Toyota has more than 330 people, 330k people, 1,000 people across the globe, and this company has more than 10k customers and suppliers across the globe. So making DAO toolings for Toyota's big enterprise makes sense. And the people are going to use Astar as the layer one blockchain. So Toyota's employee are going to use Astar indirectly. So this is our one of the purpose. And in the long run, I would like to work on car and Web3. So we are on the right track. Also, we announced Sony collaboration, the partnership. Sony Network Communication is the operation company of the Sony Group, and they're working on internet in general. We have already kicked off incubation program with Sony, and we are going to develop 15 selected projects on the top of Astar by leveraging Sony's IP, resource, and Astar's knowledge. As of today, we got more than 110 applications across the globe in 4 days. So this is really good. by using our presence in Japan and by using presence of Toyota or presence of the Sony, we would like to go to our next level as the layer one blockchain. But in the long run, we would like to be a global layer one blockchain, just like Polygon. Polygon bootstrapped, they use India to bootstrap the ecosystem. Astar use Japan to bootstrap our ecosystem. But in the long run, we would like to make a layer one, global layer one blockchain just like Polygon. Yeah, I think we are on the right track. I think next big update is going to be WebAssembly. Once we support WebAssembly, we are going to support Web2 developers, and people can deploy Ink smart contract, which is Rust-based smart contract. This is going to be the next big things, and the next big things is something in Japan. Something comes from Japan. I'm working on this right now, so stay tuned. Yeah, thank you very much, Emily. That's it from my side.
Thank you so much, Sota. And as always, thank you for being the one of the speaker that always stays up the latest to attend the community call. We appreciate it.
No worry.
Thank you. Wonderful stuff you guys are working on. Looking forward to seeing it all come to life. All right. Up next, we have Raul to give an update of all the motions, proposals, and governance referenda that went to vote in the last month.
It's really nice to be here again. As always, I'm going to give you a recap about the Kusama and Polkadot governance proposals and treasury proposals. But before I do that, I want to let you know that if you want to learn more about open governance, please join us on February 24th. It is this Friday at 4 p.m. CET in a new episode of Polkadot AMA, How To, this time with the topic Polkadot OpenGov. I will be joining Juan and Rada from Web3 Foundation, and we're going to be discussing everything about open governance model and answering your questions. The team will also share the link to the tweet here for you to join and to know where to go at 4 p.m. CET. This will be online, so make sure to join. As always, I can go very fast through all of the proposals, both governance and treasury, that happened during this month. There was a lot of movement. The team will also be sharing the links with you for you to go deeper into the proposals that you find the most interesting. I made a selection of what I think are the most interesting proposals for the month, and let's start with Kusama. On Kusama, on the side of governance proposals, as you might have seen if you participate in governance and are in the direction channels, we've been back and forth for a few days regarding the Kusama auctions for the year 2023. I think we finally got it. We have at the moment two proposals up for vote. The first one is Proposal 103. It's up for vote right now on OpenGov, and this aims to execute the third Kusama auction of the schedule for 2023, and the last one on auction admin track before the 2023 schedule enacts, if successful. And then proposal number 101 on root origin aims to schedule the rest of the auctions for 2023. It's worth noting that the original schedule, the one that was submitted by Referendum 72, that we had to cancel due to a misconfiguration in the parameters, is followed in this proposal as well, and that the first three auctions for the year, since we're already in February, were scheduled via auction admin track. You can check proposal 101 and 103 in order to see what the auction schedule will look like on 2023 if the community approves. This is already up for vote right now. Then another interesting proposal on the governance side that was submitted by Coin Studio at the end of January 2023 is a proposal that seeks to adjust validators' minimum commission rate from 3% to 10%. This proposal seeks to change the commission rate but keeps all of the other staking configurations unchanged. It has already passed and been confirmed. Congratulations to the coalition of validators, particularly the 1,000 validator proposal, the 1,000 validator program validators and operators who participate on the discussion for this proposal. It was a really, really interesting discussion. So this has been already confirmed and passed. Kusama is right now, as of this morning, also voting on Proposal 106. This aims to upgrade the Kusama runtime to version 9380. Among other important things, this upgrade allows auction admin track to use scheduler, which is the issue that we had with the auction schedules at the beginning. And it also includes XEMV3. You can check the release notes on the release on GitHub or on the link to the proposal as well. You will be able also to check there the proposal hash and the call data for your information. Another interesting proposal was Proposal 95 that was already confirmed. This aimed to execute a lease swap for Karura and Mangata. Due to an incorrect understanding of the lease swap process, there was a bad WASM that was submitted for both parachains, so they needed help from relay chain governance. As you know, when a parachain cannot enact something on their own governance, then relay chain governance can help them. So they aim to execute this lease swap for both of the parachains, for both Karura and Mangata. This was already approved and confirmed, and it was submitted on whitelisted color track. Let's pass to the Kusama Treasury proposals. Proposal number 100 is also pretty interesting. It's up for vote right now, and it was submitted by Kryptonitas. The proposal 100 aims to assign the curator team to the Spanish content and event bounty. This is bounty number 16. So the Spanish content and event production bounty was created in order to reward the community content creators for their efforts, not only in creating content in Spanish, but also in the production of events for the Spanish-speaking community. This bounty was approved a while ago already, but we were waiting to be able to accept a curation address on the treasurer track. Up now, the proposal is up for vote. The number of the proposal is 100, so please make sure to check on the curation team, check on their credentials. These are people that have been on the Kusama and Polkadot community for quite a while, and the bounty changes and evaluation process is inspired on some of the deficiencies that the community found in other bounties. So please make sure to check it out. Another interesting proposal submitted by Proof of Chaos that was already voted and confirmed was the OpenGov dashboard treasury proposal. Proof of Chaos developed a open governance dashboard in order to provide the community with data and analytics regarding governance in general. They started this with the Governance One model, and Proposal number 92 aimed to integrate open governance model and to extend the dashboard to open governance model in order to include Kusama and hopefully soon the Polkadot network as well. So congratulations to the team. And then the last treasury proposal on Kusama I would like to talk about is the subledger proposal by Metaspam. This is a platform for multi-token fund management, accounting, and reporting. The goal of the project is to create an easy-to-use tool for managing and reporting and aggregate, of course, tokens and funds across multiple chains and tokens. So a very interesting proposal that is up for vote right now as proposal 105. Let's move now to Polkadot Network. I'm going to start as well with the governance proposals and then move to treasury proposals. The first one I want to mention is the runtime upgrade to 9360 for Polkadot. This has already passed. It was voted by the community in referenda queue as referendum 102. This proposal was already enacted. You can check the release notes for runtime in the release publication or in the post on Polk Assembly and Subsquare. The second proposal on the governance side I want to talk about is a proposal that has already started and is up for vote right now by the community in referenda queue. This proposal aims to unbrick the Zeitgeist parachain. The runtime that is now deployed on Polkadot was prepared before the para ID was obtained. So when the team obtained the para ID that they have right now, they made an error at submitting the WASM file, and the Zeitgeist chain stopped producing blocks. Therefore, since they cannot produce blocks, then the relating governance model took action, and up for vote now is proposal 104. I think it has 1 day left for vote. At the moment, it's passing to Umbric Zeitgeist Parachain. I want to thank both the team and the technical committee for the coordination and the work done in order to have this passed and voted for the final decision by the community. This morning, motion 354 was also submitted for council consideration before it goes to the community for vote. This motion aims to upgrade the runtime on Polkadot to version 9370. As always, for runtime releases, you can find the release notes on the publication, or you can find also on the Polk Assembly post. Just for those of you who are not aware of what a runtime upgrade is, this allows Polkadot to change the logic of the chain without the need for a hard fork and updating, changing the business logic with new code and new features. More information can always be found on the wiki or on the post that the team will share. And then I want to talk also about motion 348. Motion 348 was submitted as an external motion, and it's a new batch of HRMP channels for 5 parachains in the Polkadot ecosystem: Hydra DX, Capex, Ajuna, Pendulum, and Lytton Tree. This was approved by the council, and now is to be voted by the community for the final decision in referenda queue, which we'll hope will be soon there for you to vote. So keep an eye on the referenda queue for Polkadot Network. This is going to happen soon, we hope. Regarding treasury proposals on Polkadot, as Sota was mentioning before me here on the call, in the community call, there is a proposal, that is proposal 101 on Polkadot Network in referenda queue to approve the WASM smart contract bounty. This is bounty 19. This was proposed by a coalition of teams to encourage and promote the adoption and development of WebAssembly smart contracts on Polkadot parachains. And the goal is actually to create audited Inc. and ASK smart contracts, to prepare and develop an incubation program and a React hooks library called Use Inc. This will be, if approved, will work as a bounty, and then the next step will need to be to decide on who the curation team will be for this particular bounty. Congratulations for the effort and the coordination to the coalition of teams. It's been a pleasure to work with you on this particular proposal. The next proposal I want to talk about that is up for vote for the council is the Kusamarian proposal for a 6-month maintenance funding. This particular proposal aims to continue funding the development and maintenance of the episodes and shows that the Kusamarian is running for the Polkadot and the Kusama community, including attempts to governance, which happens every Monday and that I sometimes have the pleasure to share with the team. You can check the contextual information on the post and in the link that will be shared after this call. Make sure to check on the episodes. There is, I think, a total of 6 or 7 series that this particular proposal will fund for the next 6 months. Very interesting content produced by the Kusamarian, so congratulations to the team. Motion 349 has been already passed by council vote and is a treasury proposal for Polkadot, so the centralization analytics platform for its continued operation and deployment. The team recently increased the usability of Polkadot, particularly on mobile devices, computation capability, and rolled out a lot of infrastructure to improve the community engagement and commitment by creating APIs, documentation, and different examples to integrate this particular platform. This proposal aimed at continued operation and maintenance on the Polkadot network, and it was already passed by the council, so congratulations to them. And the 2 last proposals I want to talk about are motion 346 that was already approved as well by Encode Club. The Encode team already started working with the Polkadot community back in 2022, and they developed a program that is divided into 3 phases. First, an education program, then a hackathon program, and finally an incubation program. This particular proposal, motion 346, aims to fund tranche 1 of Encode Club 2023 after the success on their program last year. And it aims to fund the education part and the hackathon organization after. And then Motion 342, which is my last mention of the day, belongs to Talisman. The Talisman project, we all know the wallet. They aim to fund the development of a business-friendly Polkadot multisig. This proposal aims to develop this multisig frontend to lower the difficulty for teams and for businesses when they run their financial operations on Polkadot with multisigs for more security. And this proposal was already also executed and approved by the council. So the Talisman team is already working on the developments of this very interesting and exciting project. So congratulations to them. That is all for me now. Remember that on Friday the 24th, you can join us on the AMA about Open Golf Model with the Web3 Foundation team. We'll be answering questions and also going through all of the insights, tracks, submission processes, and approval processes for the new model that hopefully will come to Polkadot Network soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul. For those that didn't write all of that down, after the Twitter space, we'll be sharing a tweet thread recapping everything that you heard today, as well as sharing relevant links to all these proposals. So don't worry if you didn't catch all of that. Up next, we have Lucas from Moonwell to talk about their launch of native USDT and governance.
My name is Lucas. I'm a founding contributor of Moonwell. I'm joining you guys from snowy Denver today. Looking forward to seeing a lot of projects and community members come out here over the next week or two. You can find Moonwell at moonwell.fi, as in Foxtrot, India. Please check us out and take a look at our app. What is Moonwell? Moonwell is a decentralized lending and borrowing protocol built on Moonbeam and Moonriver. So it's very similar to Aave and Compound, if you're familiar with those names. Moonwell launched a year ago in February on Moonriver, and then on Moonbeam in June, in the midst of 22 and everything that was happening last summer. Because Moonwell is on Moonbeam and Moonriver, it's EVM compatible, allowing users to use some of their favorite wallets like Coinbase Wallet, MetaMask, as well as native Polkadot wallets like Talisman and Subwallet. Since launching a year ago, I think it's important to see the success of Moonwell as it's grown into the largest DeFi protocol in the Datsama ecosystem with a little bit over 70 million in TVL and thousands of monthly active users. So the priority for the Moonwell community the last few months has been to really focus on governance, specifically on-chain governance. Governance sometimes can or cannot be sexy, but it's very critical to the long-term success of most decentralized protocols. So as the tooling improves, making it easier for the community to make on-chain decisions and submit on-chain proposals, the community is able to actually manage the protocol. And one example that I just wanted to touch on was just last week, the StellaSwap team, which is one of the leading DEXs on Moonbeam, submitted an on-chain proposal adding native USDT on Moonwell via governance, which is very exciting to see other projects in the ecosystem getting involved in Moonwell governance and being able to contribute. As the Polkadot ecosystem grows, we're excited to see new XC20 tokens come to Moonbeam and Moonwell, as well as other novel use cases for XCM technology. We're also eager to see other teams and community members interact with the Moonwell protocol via governance to help us grow the ecosystem together. What's next? In general, we're excited to see the Moonwell community decide where the protocol should grow and expand its reach. So looking forward to seeing the community engage in our forums and through governance. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the call, looking forward to seeing a lot of you in Denver over the next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Ajuna Network. Ayuna, excuse me.
Hey, thank you for having us today. So yeah, let me go on with an update from Ajuna Network. As maybe a few of you know, we're quite excited. We got to launch the first season of our awesome Ajuna avatars on the 10th of February. I think sort of just of a bit of a background, we sort of what we were seeing is that in the world of these NFT launches, we understand that the process has become in a way quite stale and quite repetitive. And so our goal with Awesome Ajuna Avatars was to essentially provide quite a pure, let's say, Web3 experience and focus on the engagement and sort of the fun part that we can have with the community by introducing things like a free tier or sort of a freemium way in order to get people on board. We managed to have, yeah, quite an interesting initial success with the first season. And I'd like to share maybe just a bit some numbers here. So for season one of the Awesome Ayuna Avatars, which run initially for 7 days, we were hoping that it was going to last for about a month's time. That's how we had initially sort of planned ahead. But we were lucky enough to get close to 1,000 players, over actually 1,000 players in those 7 days until an abrupt ending. Over 300,000 mints happening, over 80,000 forges, and an active marketplace with over 7,000 trades in essentially the 10 days the game has been running up to now. I think what we were most proud of here for season one was the fact that we managed to create quite a lot of engagement with this sort of Web3 experience. We had players not only in our Discord, but actively in the game spending hours in order to be able to forge that legendary AAA. So as a first season, we couldn't be happier with at least the numbers that are coming out up to now. So season one was based on the characters that we have created for our own game, Battlemogs, and essentially here the use case of what we're trying to achieve here is create that initial community through which by launching this season one of Awesome Ayun Avatars, which we can then carry on as users for Battlemogs when it launches its beta. So the goal, as I said, of generally AAA season is to create, you can see this as a community building product where we encourage and we invite teams to come and build and launch their own seasons. Whether that's an NFT project, whether that's a small indie developer team which has an idea and they want to create this engagement, this initial community which can support their efforts, we think that this is a path really worth going for. So season one specifically, as we said, was designed for the needs of or to onboard people into Battlemogs, our own games. So season one holders, each holder of an Awesome Ayuna avatar will have access to the Battlemogs beta, which will be launching later on this year. We have specific, let's say, adventures which have created for holders of legendary Awesome Ayuna avatars, which we are also going to be releasing sometime close to the launch of season two of the Awesome Ayuna avatar. If you didn't have the chance to join, you can always go at aaa.ayuna.io and start playing Awesome Ayuna avatars. Really fun experience. I'll move on a bit with a couple of things we want to share in terms of partnerships, what it is that we're doing now. Maybe a few saw that we managed to close our funding round just a few weeks ago. That will help us quite a lot in the development and the roadmap that we have set ahead of us. Really super proud of the work and the partnerships that we did this past month with the teams at Subwallet and Talisman. Obviously, the wallets are that sort of entry point into the application layer, which in this case would be the Awesome Ayun avatars. Both the team and their community were super supportive. I think they had a lot of fun too, and we really look forward to working with both teams later on also for season two and beyond. Also quite excited to start working with the team at Equilibrium as we explore the use case of stablecoins into sort of gaming and other user, let's say, facing applications. So very excited to start also working with the team there. Quick shout out also to Dustin from Astar and Agile from Talisman, who joined us yesterday for a really fun discussion that we had around sort of what can we do to bring more users on the Polkadot ecosystem. Um, Moving on, just a bit of an update to everyone what it is that we're working now and what are the things that are exciting us over the next few months. So obviously season two is quite a priority for us, trying to capitalize from the success that we had of season one, try to create a familiar but yet different experience for season two and bring it to a wider audience is a real priority obviously for us now, and continuing building these Web3 adventures for our legendary holders is also already underway. Another, let's say on the research side, which we're super excited about, we started last year working with a team from Germany, Polycrypt, going through various research projects and looking for Web3 grant in order to be able to continue working on some things which were quite important for us, especially in terms of NFT marketplaces. So at this point, we have obtained an IP around the gaming as well as entertainment industry, and I started working with Polkadot for an off-chain worker, which essentially we can have gasless transfers between our own ecosystem, reaching out to Ethereum and later on Polygon. We expect sort of the first results of this to be close to mid of the year, and super excited to share more there probably as we expect at the Sub-Zero conference in June with the rest of the ecosystem. So yeah, in closing, I'd like to thank sort of generally everybody from the community. We had a lot of fun building on Kusama. All of the big advantages, I think, of building on Substrate and building on Kusama were clear. The game launched, we had problems, we had to fix things, we had more problems, we had to fix them. But the important thing is that the infrastructure and the tool set was there for us to be able to deal with every problem that came up, to be able to provide still a fun and engaging experience. So yeah, thank you for the community for supporting us and showing up. As I said, sort of as a short also resume of what happened. 7 days of a lot of work, but a lot of success for the Awesome Ajuna avatars. Building on season two, and yeah, we will be updating you in the next call, probably in a couple of months, of how we're progressing on other things. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Peaq Network.
Hello, everyone. This is Leonard from Peaq Network. I'm one of the co-founders. And at Peaq, we're building a network for what we call the economy of things. You can imagine that an electric vehicle in the future, you don't actually around taxi service. So it can actually earn money for you while you don't need it. And when you need it, you just make it unavailable and use it for yourself. Or you have a charging station that can sell energy whenever you don't need it at home. So the idea is really that all kinds of machines and devices that people anyway have or that people can buy can be added to the network, and they can really offer goods and services so that everyone can earn money and income streams there. Because as of now, in centralized systems and centralized platforms, this is really possible because it's a closed system. And we got to jump also into the use case of Web3 Uber and how this fits into the economy of things. Maybe a bit more background on Peaq. So we've been working with many enterprises and machine manufacturers like the company Audi or Bosch many years and built enterprise networks, and then ultimately decided to join the Polkadot ecosystem, build our layer one network here because of the technology and the community, and really decentralize everything we've been working on the past years. For the ones of you that are a bit more technical, Peaq is essentially a layer one network for decentralized physical infrastructure networks, or also called DePIN. So its core economics and tool set basically enable networks that build decentralized infrastructure such as Helium, for example, or Planet Watch to build directly on it. And we aim to be the best possible layer one to exactly enable those use cases. And to jump into the Web3 Uber case, because this is one of our favorite use cases, because it's such a perfect Web3 use case where you have Uber, for example, as a middleman company, which you can simply cut out, because with smart contracts you can remove the central backend that Uber provides and essentially make it much more affordable for any driver and user to sell and buy a taxi ride. And in the future also for robotaxi, where drivers are not needed anymore. And this use case is being started to be built on top of the Peaq network by Blocksmove, who are also here in the call. And Blocksmove is a company that was born out of Daimler. So Blocksmove is a management buyout from Daimler. They've been working on decentralized mobility platform for quite some while, and I've started building a Web3 Uber in Nigeria essentially because there, first of all, Uber is not available, and also the market is much more open to try new things, and people are much more keen to explore new ways to earn some money on the side. So that use case really is what we believe will be one of the big use cases in the real world and the real sharing economy, where Web3 can play a massive role. Many of you might know that Uber is not making profit and that all those companies struggle actually financially. And by decentralizing it and making it open and creating much more availability and not having many closed silos and closed platforms who all build up their own user base, who all build up their own fleet, you can have an open ecosystem where every user and every machine can see each other and can transact with each other freely, and that in a peer-to-peer way. And that brings me also to the second part of what I would like to talk about, which is Peaq Control, the interface to actually add and manage all kinds of machines on the Peaq network. Because once you have added an electric vehicle, for example, and it is a robotaxi in a Web3 Uber application, it can also be part of a charging application where it charges energy from a charging station, or it can also participate in a parking application or car sharing. So by adding one machine to the network, we also create the ability for new DApp builders to come and build new applications and tap actually in an existing pool of machines. And this is what Peaq Control is there for. It enables everyone to add machines to the network, manage them, and connect them with different decentralized applications. And if you have a Raspberry Pi, you can already connect it today. We just launched it yesterday, actually, and more machines are following shortly. This is also the reason why we're closely collaborating with machine manufacturers like Bosch and other OEMs, because ideally, of course, at some point, all that hardware is Web3 native and people can buy it, turn the charging station on, and that charging station can actually directly talk to the blockchain network and sell energy. Yeah, thanks a lot for listening, and happy to connect on any channel.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Peaq. Up next, we have Alexei from Interlay.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me. So I'm Alexei. I'm one of the two co-founders of Interlay. And for those of you who don't know, Interlay is one of the older parachains on Polkadot. We've been building Interlay for over 3 years now, actually. And what we're trying to do is really bringing like crypto back to the grassroots. So Interlay works on providing access to financial tooling for BTC, right? Bitcoin is the largest asset in the crypto space. It's what started this entire movement. By far, Bitcoin is the leading asset in terms of global adoption, right? BTC has around 300 million users today with 15 million monthly active accounts, which is significantly more than most of the other chains counted together. But the biggest problem that we have with BTC is that you cannot do anything with it, right? The asset that started this entire movement is stuck in this endless cycle of debates around, adding changes or not, and users being forced to trade and do anything else but payments on centralized exchanges. So essentially, we're pushing our community, we're pushing our early users, new people who join the crypto ecosystem, which usually starts with BTC, we're pushing them to centralized exchanges into the arms of the likes of SBF, which take advantage. And Interlay is really trying to revolutionize this. So for those of you who've been following Polkadot, you know that Interlay built the first fully decentralized BTC bridge bringing Bitcoin to the Polkadot ecosystem. Now, we recently announced the V2 version of Interlay in the new white paper that is currently up for community debates. And in this new vision document, we describe how Interlay will transition from being purely infrastructure and catering to other DeFi use cases to building a full stack solution to unlock financial and essentially DeFi use cases for the Bitcoin community directly on the Interlay network. So think of it this way. If you're a DeFi degen, you know your way around DeFi, you know how to use different wallets, how to go multi-chain, you already can use Bitcoin across different parachains through Interlay today. IBTC, the decentralized rapid TC asset, is available on Astar, Moonbeam, Akala, and Parallel, and is soon going to be available on all the other parachains. However, using different interfaces, going through bridges is difficult. And the majority of newcomers or people who enter crypto through BTC, they don't know how to do that. So the drop-off rates are very, very high. And what's going live on Interlay over the next couple of months is that you can easily, within a few clicks, gain access to all of these cool products directly deployed on Interlay, right? So you can exchange Bitcoin for other assets. You can use it to essentially get credit lines and to use your BTC actually for something else than just speculation. Because let's be honest, DeFi is great, but today DeFi is still often purely speculative. And the goal is to allow people to essentially hedge against the inflationary currencies that we see across geographies like Southern America, and essentially use BTC to do that, but still have access to liquid capital, because it is very difficult for communities and essentially the average Joe to lock up a big chunk of his capital to protect themselves against inflation and basically not access that. That's something that big funds can do, but the average user is not able to do that. And for this is essentially why credit lines are so important. It allows you to access this capital and use it in your day-to-day life. And essentially, this is one of the features that Interlay is trying to provide to the community in a fully decentralized manner. So feel free to check out the new Interlay white paper and play around with the testnet. So the bridge is already live, has been for about a year, both on our Canary network and on Interlay on Polkadot. And we recently pushed out the DeFi hub onto the Interlay testnet, which you can find if you go to the Interlay Twitter profile. We just completed a competition where we were stress testing the network. We've had over 500 active users over the course of about 2 weeks experimenting with different features, and are now going back to fix all of these kind of improvements and are preparing for launch on the mainnet. That's it. That was basically Interlay V2. So please do check it out. And among others, we're working closely on bringing other on and off ramp use cases into the Polkadot ecosystem, because we strongly believe that we need more users in this community. Only focusing on the existing Polkadot ecosystem will probably not move the needle when we're competing with other networks like Polygon and so on. So you'll see over the next couple of months quite a few initiatives coming out from the business development space, bringing crypto on-off-ramp solutions, custody solutions, and other institutional integrations that will hopefully act as a defibrillator to the entire ecosystem. That's it from our side. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Up next, we have Origin Trail.
Hello from our end. This is Gigadril talking. I'm one of the founders of Origin Trail ecosystem. And I'm also going to be touching upon some of the things within the real world dealings that we have. And it's really cool to hear from the likes of Astar when they're making their first strides in the real world. Can you guys hear me? Can you please confirm I'm hearing some noises? Wonderful. Thank you so much. So what we do in the real world, what we would like to do is to improve global economy so that it would work more sustainably. And we're doing so by organizing AI-grade knowledge assets in the decentralized knowledge graph. And in this network, which has been up and running since 2018. So in a way, we're kind of a dinosaur project, but hopefully in a good way. And while we're using DKG, we're organizing these AI great knowledge assets, making them discoverable and verifiable across the internet, so across different systems. And the DKG has been in use for quite a while. It has been used by some of the biggest quote unquote companies in the world. We call them network operators. And last year, December, we're happy to report that we have successfully launched the V6 of the DKG inaugurally on our own parachain, which is a origin trail centric or origin trail tailored parachain called Origin Trail Parachain. During this integration, we have received a tremendous vote of confidence from the Origin Trail community, which is expressed through the token, the track token, which has been transferred through one-way teleport to Origin Trail Parachain. So we have used the means called the teleportation, and through several batches, we have so far teleported together with the community almost 25% of the entire circulating supply of trace. And this is a huge vote of confidence from Origin Trail community, which has gladly joined the Polkadot bunch here. So what Origin Trail decentralized knowledge graph does now after following the V6 launch, we have introduced a new type of internet resource called knowledge assets. And these knowledge assets essentially are connected in a network, and they are furthering not only the sustainability of a global economy, but are also improving the value that can be derived through collaboration in sharing the knowledge in the bourgeoising knowledge economy. One such use case I would touch upon is being deployed now, actually redeployed, because it was deployed in the previous network. It's being deployed by the network operator called SCAN. That's short for Supplier Compliance Audit Network, which is essentially a consortium of the biggest retailers in the States, the biggest companies as well, not only in the States but also in the world, altogether representing over 40% of imports to the United States. So what this particular network operator would do, which kind of joins companies such as Walmart, JCPenney, Costco, Home Depot. So what they would do, they would establish a network of over 24,000 companies represented through these knowledge assets in the decentralized knowledge graph. And by doing so, they would exchange crucial information which is needed to kind of clear to allow these companies to import to the United States. And companies that use the solution, which is based on Origin Trail, which is a SCAN trusted factory, have kind of preferred access also to enter the US market, because the system is also can be used by the Customs and Border Protection of the United States. So this is one such example, one such network operator. And this network, which consists or is growing in its consistency of knowledge assets, is also growing in its value according to the law of network effects. And what we're also seeing now, combining several use cases, for example, there is another network which is right now growing in terms of the training certificates, and these training certificates are used by persons who are performing audits on the aforementioned 24,000 factories as well. And by combining these assets from different networks, you actually come to a much bigger value of network effects. And why am I talking that much about the value of the network effects? Is because the value of network effects grows exponentially according to the law that was formulated by Bob Metcalfe, which I also mentioned because he happens to be our advisor. And he just recently he also stated that, and I'm sure that you all know that AI systems are becoming a kind of a big thing in the crypto space and otherwise. He also stated that that the AI systems will continue to grow as also the usage of the decentralized knowledge graph is becoming more prominent, because AI systems essentially need growing volumes of data. And Origin Trail allows to do so because it essentially kind of levels the playing field for all participants in this new economy by giving them an ability to get involved in the network, in the decentralized network, as network operators, and also as those who are publishing those knowledge assets. And I'm also happy to report that we already have received requests and also have confirmed the deployment of AI-related solutions that will also be leveraging not only the existing knowledge assets which are growing on the network, but also the new knowledge asset, because right now the knowledge asset category as an asset is kind of a new thing. So in the future, we're expecting this growth to be pretty much staggering. And one very important thing for this forum today is that we have also recently launched a so-called DKG proliferation hub on our Origin Trail parachain. Origin Trail parachain functioning as a network in which we're going to test out all possible scenarios for the decentralized knowledge graph network, which is a network on top of the blockchain network, to also be proliferated to other chains, to other blockchains, and primarily to other parachains on Polkadot. And we're hoping, and we have also received quite a lot of expressions of interest to see also other parachains to attach to the Origin Trail decentralized knowledge graph, and in that way combine the powers of the knowledge assets that are growing in numbers right now on the DKG with the knowledge assets that are going to be spawned by other blockchains, which are going to be kind of knowledge assets a little bit more, other parachain purposes. That might be something around the metaverse. Let's say you're running a parachain that is metaverse specific. You might also want to be involved in the DKG project and spawn a new breed of knowledge assets which are tailored for the parachain solutions that you're building. All right, yeah, that will be it from our side. I would like to welcome you to join Origin Trail community. Join our Telegram. As I said, Origin Trail community is very helpful, very active bunch of people, and they have they have supported, especially since recently, since Origin Trail joined the Polkadot ecosystem. Also, the Polkadot project as such, and also some of the parachains. I'm also welcoming you to come in, stop by at the Origin Trail community, and let's build a great future together.
Great. Thank you so much. We're almost at the hour here, but we have 3 more teams. So without further ado, I'm handing it over to Oak Network.
Hey guys, David here, Chief Vibe Architect at Oak Network. Give some quick updates from Oak Network. Really excited to talk to you guys today. First off, get the housekeeping out the way. We won our parachain slot, number 69. Very excited about that. So we'll continue to be doing work on that Turing network for the Kusama chain. But really the big thing that I am most excited to talk to you all about today is that we have gone from, we'll call it 0 to 0.5, maybe 0 to 1, depending on how you define it. And we've officially launched the first remote execution use case of the XCM technology. So that's the first non-asset transfer use case of XCM. I've been hinting at this for a long time. We're going to be doing auto compounding. Really excited to announce that Mangata made it across the line first. We've been working with that team for a long time. Really impressed with their knowledge, their understanding, their dedication to this cross-chain future, which is now. So thanks for everyone who's been waiting for it. I know we don't have the official announcement yet. We're going to have some guides coming up. If you're a Polkadot.js user, we'll have some videos so that you can kind of go in and play around with it. If you're curious what pools are going to be available, it'll be the MGX pools to start. So Bifrost, Imbue, etc. will all be available for auto compounding. This is that time automation feature, which I've talked about a lot at Oak, which allows you to schedule either one transaction in the future, or in this case, recurring transactions. So really, really excited about that. Sorry if I'm talking fast, but I'm trying to keep it tight. I know people get tired towards the end of this call, and I want to make sure everyone's got their time to speak. So very excited about that. Much like Moonwell, we have a focus on governance. So also excited to announce that we've established our first grant. That's from the Yield Bay team. So huge shout outs to them. They recently relaunched a price tracker for all the tools on MGX. So make sure to go check out their Twitter account if you're curious what the price movements are on a day-to-day basis. I try not to watch too much, but I find myself checking here and there for all the pools on Mangata. And that grant will be to build a UI experience, a front-facing GUI for the auto compounding that's available on Mangata. So if you've staked with Turing before, or you're staking with Turing right now, and you're used to that one-click auto compound yield boost type experience that you can find on Nova Wallet or Subwallet or StakeTur.com, Yield Bay has put up their hand as our leading partner to bring that to Mangata, and it's just been a pleasure to work with them as well. So big shout outs to Yield Bay, big shout outs to Mangata. I've been hinting at this for a while too, but if you guys could go prepare your tokens to do auto compound, we'd really appreciate that. Like I said, it's coming very soon, and then hopefully we'll be demoing this at ETH Denver. So if anyone's going to be going there and wants to talk to the team, see what it looks like live and in person, would love to have you guys drop by and support the Polkadot initiatives going on at ETH Denver this year. I think that's about it. Obviously, DMs remain open for the near future, if not the long-term future. Make sure to check us on Discord, Twitter, Telegram. It's an active community for sure, and we'd love to have you swing by with any questions or just to hang out. So, thanks everyone for the time. I'll call it there.
Wonderful, thank you, and thank you for trying to go as fast as you can. Up next, we have Unique Network.
Hi everyone, Alexander Mitrovic, Unique. So many of you might know us as NFT pioneers in Polkadot ecosystem. I just realized it's been 3 years since we released the first NFT palette, 2.5 years since we released the first NFT collection in the Polkadot ecosystem, and almost as much from creating the first marketplace as a commercial application in the Kusama ecosystem. We used a lot of that time since then to create the most advanced NFT infrastructure on the planet. The chain is live. We have Quartz on Kusama and Unique on Polkadot that are ready to use and are really the most advanced NFT infrastructure out there. I won't get into technical details now, but it has everything you can dream of and more. I want to talk very quickly and mention here in this audience the second product we created that Raul kind of encouraged me to talk about more, and that is a Substrate SDK. As we developed a lot of palettes, a lot of them indeed, there's a dozen or more of our native ones, and then a lot more of refactoring and kind of changing stuff that others have made. We stumbled upon big problems that dApps can have. There's two things. First is the Substrate is a very live software. It's kind of not fixed. So any dApps have to keep up with it. And a lot of dApps in the NFT space know nothing and don't want to know anything about Substrate because it's too hard for them. So, we created the SDK that basically manages the Substrate changes for the downstream dApps so that anybody can kind of build without worrying about the underlying changes from Substrate. But the second thing is something that is much bigger in scope. We are all very proud to be part of Polkadot ecosystem. It's the second largest developer ecosystem in the world, right? We have over 2,000 developers and kind of more if you add in Kusama. But that's just a couple of thousand people, okay, who know how to work in Substrate. At the same time, you have millions of developers, Web 2, okay? So in order to get Polkadot into enterprise space, we built the Substrate SDK. What it does, it's a RESTful API for those technical who know things, but it kind of allows anybody who knows JavaScript or many other languages to work directly with blockchain through the REST API, they all know. So they can take an hour, maybe half an hour presentation, and they are good to go and develop applications. This is a very big door opener because, as I mentioned, there's very few people who know Substrate, and there's a lot of people who know how to develop applications. So any of those enterprises, they have thousands and tens of thousands of developers. They can readily use our blockchain in this case, and create NFT-related applications. Now, we released the first alpha version of that in September last year, but then recently we released the gaming part of that, which covers mobile languages, so it works for iOS and Android, and then C# and Unity as well, so that any developers that work in those environments, mobile games or that use Unity, which is a lot of them, can work directly and don't have to learn much about blockchain at all. I'm talking about this because there's a lot of parachains, a lot of app developers in this audience. Raul has encouraged me to talk to you about it and see if there is an interest from any of the others to use that. We have created the SDK to cover 54 methods that we have, but it is easily extendable to other chains. It is actually extendable not only to individual parachains, but it is to dApps as well, because it doesn't need the parachain necessarily to work. So we are now on the call out to other ecosystem members to see who might be interested in something like this, to design the kind of common product for that. If anybody is interested, please let us know. That's the kind of main message. Otherwise, at Unique, we are working on bringing over some really innovative and serious players into the NFT space in the Polkadot ecosystem. We signed up a number of partnerships who are doing very innovative things in events management, and then lately with the Snark Art on dynamic NFTs and a number of others. So as we gear on for adoption, which is the sole focus we have right now, expect to hear a lot about many new projects, many new things launching, and so on. That's it for me. Thank you very much for listening in. I'll pass it over back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Unique. And last but certainly not least, we have Apillon.
Oh yeah, thanks Emily for having us. It's been a while since we've been on the community call. So on the last one, we kind of teased you guys on what we're going to build for the ecosystem, and I'm happy to talk about the exciting news we have to share today. Just for the ones who haven't seen what we're building on, what we're doing at Apillon. So we're basically building a platform that enables organization and its developers to move and develop quickly without investing significant efforts in designing and implementing backend blockchain services. As an example from Web2, so what Firebase is building on Google and AWS Amplify is building on AWS, we're offering kind of a toolkit which provides use case centric and easy to use interface for building Web3 applications on top of Polkadot and leveraging its parachains. So from a target user perspective, we have either Web3 natives who want to spin up quick prototypes, or Web2, let's say newbies into the Web3 ecospace who want to stay within their comfort zone and build basically Web3 applications with tools they're already familiar with, like JavaScript, Python, TypeScript, and so on. So the exciting news that I wanted to share today, we started coding the MVP of our platform back in September last year, and we officially launched our closed beta roughly a month ago, so 3 to 4 weeks ago. And it's been a huge success, especially for us. I mean, since we launched the MVP, we already have around 460 developers working on our platform. We have 2 services currently live, so it's Web3 storage and Web3 hosting, both being powered by Crust Network. So we want to preach, well, let's say, built, or let's say doing what we preach. So we want to enable developers to have the possibility to really host their websites in a real decentralized way. And this is what one of our services is enabling you. So we're able to really upload a static website and host it on IPFS through our platform. And as mentioned, both of those services, Web3 storage and Web3 hosting, are enabled by Trust. However, we're also looking to expand, obviously, our platform, and we are in talks with different other parachains from the ecosystem. So we have Fala. We're going to be offering fat contracts and cloud computing services on the platform, Kilt for decentralized identities, Moonbeam EVM compatibility and NFT deployments, Astar for WebAssembly and EVM. So there's a huge, let's say, roadmap ahead of us, implementing different parachains. I'm inviting here also parachains who we haven't talked yet to get in touch with us, and we can start exploring a possible cooperation. Because what we really want to achieve by the end of the day is to have interoperability of parachains on the front level, not just on the backend infrastructure level through XCMP, but really create useful applications that everyday user is going to be using by leveraging the parachains at the backend. So as mentioned, we have 460 developers already building. We have 28 websites being hosted, and we've roughly pinned already 2,000 files to the IPFS through the platform. I'd like to invite everybody to join our platform, register for it. We have a special surprise for our 500th developer or user joining the platform. So yeah, looking forward to further push adoption of Polkadot and bring the masses of developers to the ecosystem.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who tuned in and listened to the whole thing. We will also put out a tweet thread recapping all the major announcements that happened with relevant links, so that if there's something you heard and you want to know where you can go learn more from these teams, that will be shared from Polkadot's Twitter account. I would like to thank all of our speakers that joined us today, especially all of those that waited for all through everyone's talks. That was Astar Network. We had Raul, Polkadot Council member, Moonwell, Ajuna, Peaq, Interlay, Origin Trail, Oak Network, Unique, and Apillon. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to all of our speakers. And we'll see you next month for the March edition of the community call. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.